The December 12th, 2024 Indian Head Park Village Trustee Board of Trustees meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Saldana.
Here.
Trustee Eck.
Present.
Trustee O'Laughlin. Trustee Donnersberger.
Here.
Trustee Svetka.
Here.
Trustee Gazis.
Here.
President Amy Jo Wittenberg.
Here. Thank you. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Last night, we had the Wolf Road Phase 1 redesign update. I just would like to make sure everybody knows that the public information meeting number 2 was held at the Highlands Elementary School at 6:30 to 9 last evening. And we presented 3 road alternatives that are all available on the wolfroadstudy.com website and also the Indian Head Park website. We also have a Facebook social media post and a news flash that also went out, providing all of the links to all the alternative maps, the presentation that was presented at the meeting, the Q&A document that was handed out, the video of the meeting. It was live streamed, and you can replay the meeting at the links that you can see on our website, on wolfroadstudy.com, and on our social media page. If any of you have issues or are not on the internet, you can pick up the presentation materials and Q&A materials at the Village Hall, either in Indian Head Park or in Burr Ridge. And if you have any questions, you shouldn't hesitate to contact us here at the Village, and we'll be here to answer questions. The large roll maps that were presented at the town hall meeting last evening after the formal presentation are available here in the back of the boardroom for public viewing during regular business hours. So if residents or other interested parties would like to come and view the roadway alternatives in a larger format, you can do that here in the Village boardroom. Please feel free to come. We'd love to see you. Reviewing the hard work of our stakeholders in putting together these 3 alternatives. The study team wants your feedback. And the way that you can get your feedback to the Village and to the study team is on the official website, wolfroadstudy.com. There are comment cards available here at the Indian Head Park Village Hall. You also potentially pick them up at the meeting last evening. You can also, if you would rather, email the project team directly at info@wolfroadstudy.com. If you prefer the telephone, the phone number is 779-803-4285. You can also mail feedback to them in care of the R.M. Chin and Associates at 500 West 18th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60616. Feedback and questions by any method will be accepted and considered until January 10th, 2025. Also, we will be making all of this feedback public on wolfroadstudy.com and all of our different websites no later than February 1st, 2025. Just to remind everybody, we have a senior congregate meal next week, 11/21 at 1:30. It is our ugly sweater contest and bingo and meal. So if you want to come for a good time, come on and join us and wear your ugly sweater. That's all I have this evening. Thank you. Can I please have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you, Christina and Danielle. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda items?
I have a question. One of the attachments are a listing of our current balances and the interest rates that we're earning on them. Our largest balances are in the money market account. In November, the rate that we earned was 5.43%. In November, it had dropped about a full percent to 4.98, and the current rate that they're paying us is somewhere around 4.7%. Would like to know, do we have a plan in place for watching the rates and for investing, possibly changing our investments as rates dictate?
Yes. First, Finance Director Brandy Asbill and myself will be meeting with our representative from Wintrust soon, hopefully next week, if not after Christmas, to talk through what they offer for the management of our investments. And I'll report that back to the Finance Committee and the board. And I also keep in touch with colleagues at other villages to find out what they're doing and what they're thinking about, when should we move from our MaxSafe account to, which is the other name for that money market account. The product that Wintrust has is called the MaxSafe money market account. But as those rates in that account start dropping, and we'll keep looking at those and CD rates and decide when we should transfer some of those balances. But liquidity is also an important factor to keep in mind there. So we will do that with our cash flow needs in consideration as well. But like this village, all of villages are concerned about investing for security, liquidity, and returns, usually in that order. In fact, one of my colleagues, the village manager for the village of Riverside, was for a long time their finance director, and she's very much on top of rates and changes, and she is also in charge of managing our investments for the West Cook cable agency that we're a part of with 4 other villages. And so she is somebody I trust and will seek advice from as well. And we'll just kind of follow that lead, but also find out what Wintrust advises us.
If something were to happen between now and your meeting, and it was evident that perhaps some things should be moved, does the board need to vote on that, or is that something that you can do within a certain guideline?
I would say that if I were an authorized signer on our bank accounts with Wintrust, which is coincidentally on the agenda for this evening, that I would be able to do that. And I would definitely report that to the committee and the board and let you all know what I'm doing. It would be included in the report on the next board meeting in this format. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? I think we need a financial report from the treasurer, please.
This is the financial summary for the month ending November 2024. Cash on hand at October 31st, 2024 was $4,122,478.04. Our payments in November were $419,859.72. Our total revenues for November were $32,590.06, and our ending bank balance was $3,735,208.38.
I understand that our bank balances now are another $500,000 less than that, due primarily to the payment of the bonds.
Yes, sir.
And that's semi-annual or annual?
Annual.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Moving right along to new business. Oh, we need a roll call vote to approve the consent agenda. Thank you. Council Branken, can we have that, please?
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Zvetka,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
5-0, motion passes.
Moving on to new business, could I please get a motion for item A, please?
I move to ratify the actions and decisions made during the November 12, 2024 board meeting.
I'll second it.
Gavin, would you like to review this, please?
Oh, okay. At the last board meeting, the agenda had the date for the previous board meeting at the top of it. So in order to make sure that all of your actions and motions that were approved at that meeting are, what's the word, legitimate, we need to ratify those actions that were taken.
Does everybody understand that? So we had the wrong date on the meeting. So we have to, per council, we need to ratify the actions and decisions so we're all consistent with the Opens Meetings Act and everything like that. So we have everything in order, so to speak.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? If there are none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Zvetka.
Aye.
Trustee Gazzas.
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Item B, motion, please.
Item B, I'd like to move to adopt Resolution 2024-19, authorizing the village administrator, Gavin Morgan, as a signer on the village's accounts with Wintrust Bank.
I'll second that.
So both of these resolutions that are on the agenda tonight are part of an overall effort to modernize our finance operations in advance of our transition to BSNA software, which is now scheduled to go live in August of 2025. Both these resolutions are also designed to enhance efficiency, transparency, and accountability. The first resolution will add the village administrator to the list of authorized signers. Right now, we have 3 trustees and the village president are authorized signers. This is common. This is a typical practice of municipalities. I confirmed that with our audit firm, which works with numerous municipalities. It will allow me to more effectively administer our day-to-day operations. In other words, do my job. And as Trustee Eck led me to point out earlier, it would allow me to do things like switch up our investments. And all of these, the authority doesn't change our practices around internal controls. And that's important to note. There will still be two signers required on any checks that come out of the village. There will, things that I will sign on will have been approved by the board or will have been approved by the village president or or a collection of trustees, the finance committee or any other group. It's not something that I'm going to take action on solely by myself. And as I said, we're maintaining our internal controls. As noted by the auditors, the important issue is the separation of duties between 1, recording journal entry transactions in the general ledger, 2, cutting checks, and 3, having signature authority. If one person has the ability to cut the check, sign the check, and record in the counting software, that opens up the possibility of fraud. And we would get really dinged on our audit. So I'm not going to let that happen. I will only have the ability to sign checks and approve certain transactions, and anything that I do approve or sign will be reported to the board in our regular financial reports. And then I can talk about the next resolution when we get there.
I have a question,
Yes.
just for clarification for the public, because they might not know. When you become a signatory, can you open accounts that do not belong to the village?
No.
Can you transfer any money between accounts without notifying someone else?
No.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana?
Aye.
Trustee Yak?
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger? Trustee Vetska?
Aye.
Trustee Gazzas?
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you. Item C.
I move that Resolution 2024-20, authorizing a sweep account arrangement with Wintrust Bank, be approved by the board.
Second.
This resolution was discussed by the Finance Committee last week, and they are in agreement with the recommendation. There's two main benefits to setting up a sweep account. Efficiency and maximizing returns are the big ones. There are others. Accountability it will be a little bit easier with that too. Automation and efficiency. We will have one interest-bearing account that will be our money market account, the MaxSafe account, and then two sub-accounts, our payroll account and our accounts payable account. Those will be funded in the amount that's necessary to cash any checks against those, but each evening the money will be transferred out of those accounts back into our interest-bearing account, and that will increase our revenues. So that is a benefit of these types of accounts, and as well as safety of the accounts. If we have, they're also known as zero balance accounts. So every night the payroll account and the accounts payable account will go down to zero. So that's fewer accounts with money in it, fewer opportunities for committing fraud.
We have two accounts with the Illinois Funds account. Are they impacted by this resolution?
No, they will not be.
Any other questions or comments on item C? Hearing none, can we please have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana?
Aye.
Trustee Yak?
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger?
Aye.
Trustee Vetska?
Aye.
Trustee Gazzas?
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Item D.
I move that ordinance 2420 regarding property tax levy for the Village of Indian Head Park be approved by the board.
Second.
On the recommendation of the Finance Committee, we have prepared a levy ordinance with a 4.9% increase. The CPI for 2023 was 3.4%. We're allowed by state statute to increase the levy by the lesser of CPI, or 5%. We are also authorized to capture any new growth in the EAV, the equalized assessed value of the community, and a levy of 4.9%, which is greater than 3.4%, will allow us to capture that new growth. If once the assessor's done all of their work, the county assessor, and the increase in new growth is less than what we would capture with a 4.9% increase, then they will reduce our levy to whatever maximum that we can get. So this is also known as a balloon levy, and the reason is that you float it as high as you can, and it comes down to whatever level is appropriate. So I'll report back to you once we have the draft of the agency tax rate report from the county clerk's office, and just so you know how much we have been approved to levy, or how much the county has extended our levy to. So
Time-wise, when might you expect that report to be coming this direction, roughly?
early next year, so February, March, and then we review that and make sure it's correct, and then send it back to them, and then they approve it and collect our taxes for us.
Any other questions about the property tax levy, the balloon levy? All righty, hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Zvetka,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on, there's no old business this evening, so moving on to the public comments. Is there any public comments from the audience? Did we receive any public comments, clerk? Okay, thank you. Hearing no public comments, we will move on to reports. Can we start with Trustee Gazis?
No report.
Trustee Zvetka?
So this upcoming Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. here in the Village Hall is going to be the next landscape meeting. At that time, we're planning to introduce some of our new members and welcome them to the committee, as well as cover some information that I gathered on a recent EPA webinar with regards to oak wilt and oak disease in the area, specifically in the Midwest. That's all.
Trustee Donnersberger?
Well, the Executive Development Committee has been exploring potential ways to help our community grow and bring outside private money into the community. So to that end, we've been looking at the possibility of TIFs in various parts of the village. We're still at the very beginning stages of that, but we have high hopes for it. The Heritage Committee is moving right along. Now I've lost my thought. We are putting out a survey to get the input from community members as to what they think should be done at the site. And I don't know I can't remember if it was mentioned at the last meeting or not, but the building is now closed because of potential hazardous materials in the building, so it's no longer being used. And on the committee is one of the ladies who has been docent up there, and she's been very helpful in terms of helping us decide where those books should go. Once we get the survey back, we're also planning on a community meeting so people can come here, villagers can come here and express their views to us, and then the committee will take all of that under consideration as well as some other studies that we're doing and make a decision.
Trustee Eck, do you have a report?
Yes, on the Finance Committee, we're moving forward on the best practices that was memo written by a village administrator in November. In addition, we're going to be working hard on the budget for the coming year, and that our fiscal year ends April 30th, and so our timing is based on the fiscal year, not the calendar year. Regarding Public Works, I see Joe here, he'll have a report. In both committee meetings, the public is welcome to attend.
Trustee Saldana?
No report.
One thing that I wanted to cover for Trustee O'Loughlin is that we have our holiday Frosty Fest on the 21st, Saturday, from 11 to 1, and Santa will be visiting us on a fire truck, and he'll be right here in Village Hall with his reindeer. So his live reindeer are also coming to Indian Head Park, which is an amazing event with crafts and hot chocolate and donut holes and all of that. So please come and join us. We always have some great distinguished guests. The Grinch comes, and also an elf will come, and different little characters. So please feel free to bring your children and get some great pictures with Santa and the reindeer. Can we please move on to the village clerk's report?
Just a brief one, kind of updates on what the clerk's office has been doing the month. We had 4 FOIA requests that we had this month that were answered. We had 6 permits that came in, 3 were issued, and it's currently time to renew both the video gaming licenses for their annual license and also the liquor license semi-annual. So that's what we are currently working on to get those out before the end of the year. So we have the clerk's report.
Village treasurer?
No report, ma'am.
Village attorney?
No report, thank you.
Village administrator?
So Eileen covered the Heritage Center, but I want to specifically thank Sharon Kalinowski for all of her work to get the books packed for storage at Public Works, those that were in good condition, no mold. And will be used at some point if there is an opportunity for a library in the community. And remaining in the building are we're moving, Public Works staff is going to be moving those books to Public Works. And there are instruments and furnishings that will be declared surplus once we've cataloged all those. And we're looking at a demolition in mid-January. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then the other thing is we're going to be, I've brought up before that we're doing some improvements in this boardroom, mainly focused on cleaning up that corner. I want to thank David back there for taking care of that. He's really streamlined a lot of the equipment back there and already reduced the space that took up, and just cleaned it up a lot. It helps that there's also a Christmas tree in front of it. But we are going to be adding some cameras to the side, so you get more insight into the action that takes place at this board table. And there will be, David will be able to pan and zoom and so there is not a budget for hair and makeup, but it'll just make it a better experience for those watching. And all of the costs for this will be covered with funding from the West Cook cable agency. So this is money, it can only be used for certain purposes, like improving your broadcast. So we have put that in the WCCA budget. We've put it in our budget, so we will be doing that. And we're going to be doing it at a reduced cost because thanks to Public Works staff, we're going to be able to do a lot of the work in-house, running cables and setting up stuff to just attach the equipment, plug and play, and it'll be good.
Is that everything this evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just want to make sure. Department heads, Joe, Public Works.
Thank you. I'll start off with the usual pump house update. They've been working on punch list items. They're pretty much wrapping things up. This week they've been in quite a bit, picking up what's left and just doing the few things that Strand had pointed out. Strand is going to be sending us a final invoice, so we'll have that on hand soon. I mentioned at the last meeting that the heaters were taken out of the scope of the work, so I had to get some pricing on heaters to get put into the pump house, and I had Amber Mechanical give us a cost of $10,775 to put 2 heaters in. I had our staff grab 2 new heaters, and we put 2 new heaters in, all for $1,300. So we have a very
doing that.
talented
That's
staff.
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
have a very talented staff. As Gavin mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in-house here. I got to give kudos to my staff. They've been fantastic. And while I'm giving kudos, the Christmas decorations that they've done this year, I know it's above and beyond anything we've ever done before. I think it looks fantastic. So that's the bar we're setting. So I hope everybody enjoys it, even in here. Not only us, but Lucy worked on the stockings. So, but you know, we're trying to make a difference, make it a lot more friendly around here. So, let's see. The sanitary program was completed last month, and we had a budget number of around $102,000. I got the invoice for that, and they came in at $78,841. So we came in under budget on that as well. I got a couple of thumb drives of the work they had done in the mail the other day, so I've got copies of that if anybody wants to see that. The road program and the Reclamite were both pushed to spring. We should be able to get them in still before the fiscal budget end year, and we would potentially get a better price for the road program because we'll probably have more bidders. So we'll see how that pans out in the spring. The truck that we had budgeted has been ordered. We should be under the $80,000 budget that we had. I'm thinking around $73,000. Delivery date end of January, early February. Then we'll send it to the upfitter to get the plow and Tommy Gate put on it. So we'll probably take possession of it sometime in February, complete. The leaf collection this year was a success again. We had a total number of 133.89 tons of leaves vacuumed for a grand total of 32 full loads. So that went well. Tree City USA, I put the application in for that, just waiting to get the approval for that. So we're hopefully at Tree City USA again this year. And we discussed at the committee meeting about a valve turning program, and it's something I'd like to get moving on. We kind of decided to do it in one sweep instead of pushing it over a couple-year program. I just need to make sure that we have the approval to spend the funding, because it may be over just what we can spend. So once that gets approved, I'd like to get that valve turning program started. That's my report.
Thank you. Chief?
I'll start off with staffing. Excuse me. I attended the graduation for Police Officer Brandon Bischoff today at Cook County Sheriff's Police Academy. It was a very nice affair. Brandon's very excited. We're gonna get him rolling in the FTO program immediately. We have 2 officers that are for the January class, Bradley Foster and Isaiah Willis, who Gavin had onboarded already, and we have them doing things around the station. It's like they're doing an inventory of all the vehicles. So we talked with the village administrator about taking a hard look at all the vehicles we have, because it seems to me that the same vehicles are in use all the time and some just sit. So we need to see what we need and what we don't, and if we need to purchase something else. And that's what we're going to look at now. So they're inventorying all that for me as we speak. They'll be doing that tomorrow as well. We have onboarded as well Brian Farrell, former CPD officer for a part-timer. We have a Paul Amos, who's from Georgia, but he also worked here, I think in Bolingbrook. He's from Bolingbrook. He's onboarded. He's out riding around. There's a Thomas Warren, who's a Midlothian police officer that's getting ready to come on board. And there's one more, I don't have his name. He retired over a year ago, so we have to get him through the Training and Standards Board and get him up to speed. But that officer is worked with Scott Muska, who recommended him. He came over here. We're doing all the background checks on him now. So we're getting a lot of people on board. We're getting rolling, so hopefully this will help us with our overtime and maybe some of the officers aren't working 16 hours every other day. But we're working on that. As far as the mailbox thefts, one came to court and was immediately picked up by Burbank for forgery. So we'll have more on that. The other did not appear, but her attorney did. He promised the judge that she will appear at the next court date. I'll get the court date for you, Trustee Donnersberger. It's coming up in January. I don't have a lot of faith that she's going to appear, but you know, the attorney did kind of put himself out there, so might want to make sure this person appears.
Was it a private attorney or a PD?
Private. Cook County Senior Academy graduation yesterday was really, really nice. It was well received. I believe we passed out 25 certificates yesterday, or 28 yesterday, and there was some that were not able to attend. It finished strong with K-9. They had about, what was it, 4 or 5 bloodhounds there. The seniors loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was a really nice event and put together well. The Cook County did an excellent job, as did Officer Rob Verber, and hopefully we can do this again soon. Capers, our records management system, they have revamped their whole system because they were kind of outdated. So we just had, Eve and I sat on a Zoom call. They migrated what they call now True North, and that's going to be able to have us have NIBR's capability, as well as they're going to migrate all of our information. I got a quote, and I'm going to go over it with Gavin. It seems to be the other place was a lot higher in cost, and we'll talk about it, but it seems to be what we need for now to keep rolling. Pay scheduler, hopefully by mid-January, they'll be in place. Rob Verber and Commander Gardner sat on several Zoom calls. It's a phone app scheduler as opposed to, we're still on a paper system, and it just doesn't work. And, you know, some people are especially the part-timers, feel that they don't get the notice that there's available shifts that they could have maybe taken. So this hopefully will stop that, and we'll be able to use the part-timers more like we want to. And John Cassane is still working on it. He seems to think that they're going to be able to get that juvenile also charged, because at first it was falling on deaf ears, but it seems like we're making some ground leeway on that. I'll fill you in as it goes.
That's a reference to the.
I'm sorry, to the shooting at Wolf's Head Plaza, yeah. So the
Excuse me, did you say it was a juvenile?
one is, no, the main offender is not.
Was not,
He's been
okay.
charged with armed robbery and aggravated battery with a firearm.
Yeah,
But the juvenile was with him, wasn't getting charged at all. Now John Cassane is starting to get some leeway, so we're hoping to get charged on that person as well.
was he in the getaway vehicle?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
they were on like a moped.
They were on a
when
motorcycle,
but
yeah.
But then later on, LaGrange Park stopped them in a vehicle.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
why they were still in the area, but they were.
Okay.
So I'll update as I get it, and that's what I have.
Thank you. I think we've exhausted everybody's patience this evening, but this week has been very busy, and I appreciate everybody's hard work. I know there's a lot going on, and I appreciate everybody's efforts and focus and attendance at all these events. Thank you. Seeing there's no other business to be reviewed, I think we are ready for adjourning this meeting. So can I have, what's that? No closed session tonight? So can I have a voice vote to adjourn, a motion to
Motion to adjourn?
Second? And a voice vote, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.